Finally, the report is out. Then on the 6th of August, Emma Ghana for Nipa 8, including the defense minister, Dr. Omane Boamah, Dr. Mutala, National Security Muniru, 3 crew members, Miami Papa, Dr. Samuel Sapon, NDC parliamentary candidate for Boasi East, Ira Samuel Abuajeni, CMU and a report no abain edi abetuda. Na a bit technical, kakranza mkacha on the first degree in meteorology and climate science. A course be aviation meteorology internet the answer ba medium kakra. Ni meti ase ni michire mu mama internet nso aboa me ma free expect. Ni omu nyina ka kire me no me be breaking it down ma then see ye on that faithful day. Ghana yante asempa. Me kan the faithful day I get 6 ye rain fit da. Saturday ni misumwa ha. Because of me papa Samuel edino krema your papa Samuel Sapon very sad nti ene ana bind report na to the National Security Council share chaired by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama non present report no o say nya dey so DC to achire Ghana for ni kusi na mde bon critical na cha mesho so be subscribe na click bell notification me the video bi atuma obehu na watimi ahwe bi uwia na wa subscribe we are not just comment in the comment section my effort should am friend cheme that's normal I can't be one share me sad in I'm going through a bit of that moment friend cheme we are not up any place on a pan rate wo mo betimi download this and this can before be any bedroom ho mo be kaya on that 6th August no around 1 p.m. na me do fie a press conference am hu ne kane ewe.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, who is with us here, and the government of Ghana, I have the unpleasant duty, sadly, to announce a national tragedy involving the crash of a military helicopter this morning around the Adansi area in Ashanti region. Government regrets to announce the demise of the following persons in the tragic crash. Dr. Edward Kofi Omane Boamah, Minister for Defense. Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Muhammad, MP, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Alhaji Muniru Mohammed Lemonad, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator and former Minister for Food and Agriculture. Dr. Samuel Sapon, Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, and Mr. Samuel Abuaji, a former parliamentary candidate. Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer Manin Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Ado Mensah. The President and government extends our condolences and sympathies to the families of our comrades and the servicemen who died in service to the country. All flags are to fly at half-mast until further notice.
Yes, that is Julius Debro announced here formally, not president. No, so I incapacitate no ntimi bibia because me chew say Muniru no ben the pan. Omane Boamah de ne kapo pan. Election the needs be win vigilance be no. Omane Boamah director of elections. Na Mutala omunye nkofo mo ben no. It's vice president e ko ni bibia ne na report no eba. First of all, me bo papa na nkasa de ne ma na wutie bi. About 7 minutes. To bu ne tie ebrofo. To bu ne tie me ba ma be kire wase.
The weather in the southern Ghana was poor on the day, which delayed departure for about an hour. In Accra, conditions were misty, with visibility of about 5 to 7 kilometers and very low clouds starting at only 700 to 1100 feet above the ground. While the situation improved slightly later in the morning, the early hours were dominated by haze and overcast skies. In Kumasi, the weather was worse, with drizzle reducing visibility to around 4 kilometers and heavy low clouds sitting just 600 to 900 feet above the ground. Only Accra and Kumasi Aerodrome were available. Only Accra and Kumasi Aerodrome weather were available. there was no formal information on the weather available to the pilots along the flight route. Witnesses reported poor visibility due to fog and rain at Brofuyedru and its environs. Environmental conditions Environmental commissions in the Dampier Forest Reserve and its rugged terrain of hills, mountains, created conditions such that over such rugged terrain, you can have turbulence, downdraft, and other phenomena. Now, to look at this is what we're talking about. This is a known aviation phenomena when you have such rugged territory. And what ends up happening is turbulent wind currents occur usually around ridgelines, mountains, and hills, and can generate sink rates in excess of 1,000 feet a minute in moderate wind conditions. These sink conditions can often exist well above the barrier that induces the eddies. We assessed the aircraft to see if it was fit for purpose. The helicopter entered the Ghana Air Force Service in May 2015, having been manufactured in 2012. And it reached its 10-year service threshold on 18th May 2025. Aircrafts have periodic checks to make sure that they're fit for service. The Air Force has 25-hour checks, 50-hour checks, and 100-hour checks. The 10-year check for the helicopter is what was mandated for this helicopter. Now, as is usual, an operator, in this case Ghana Air Force, requested from the manufacturer an extension. And it's normal, happens in civil flying, happens with any type of flying. The manufacturer gave a 90-day extension to 18th August 2025, and basically the helicopter met all the basic safety requirements. That notwithstanding, it sort of met a 100-hour check, so the Air Force also did a 100-hour check on the helicopter before the flight. The aircraft on the day was declared serviceable and duly signed off by both the engineers and the captain. The flight data report indicates that the helicopter was in good working condition. The helicopter, however, did not have some avionic safety enhancements. As I said before, the aircraft was serviceable and airworthy. The additional safety equipment that the helicopter did not have were things like the helicopter terrain awareness system or the enhanced ground proximity warning system, as you may choose, advanced navigation with terrain mapping, an automatic flight control system. And I would say that these safety equipment would have enhanced situational awareness. For instance, it didn't have an autopilot. That's advanced, the automatic flight control system, so that the crew had to manually fly the plane. So it sort of increases workload. Typically, you want to have a plane that has an autopilot. All the civil planes use autopilots, and the workload on the pilots is very low. It gives you the chance to do things and to think easily, and so on and so forth. Despite all this, the aircraft was in a good condition to fly and met all safety requirements. The investigation has recommended strongly for aircraft with these additional safety enhancements to be acquired immediately for the Air Force. To rule out any potential human causes, we also examined the qualifications, experience, and competence of the crew. The captain has a postgraduate certificate in safety and accident investigation from Cranfield University, UK, in 2024. The captain was a qualified FAA, that's the Federal Aviation Administration, commercial and instrument-rated pilot from Bristol Academy, Florida, USA, in April 2015, 10 years ago. Within the Ghana Air Force, he was recategorized in March 2025 as a Cat C pilot. That is, a pilot qualified to be a captain on the helicopter, the Z9 helicopter. And he had a green instrument rating. In the Air Force, they have gradings for pilots, categories for pilots from A to D. D being, depends on what you call high and low, D being the initial, sort of, and then you go all the way to A. It's interesting to note that for quite a while, and as at now in the Air Force, the highest category is Cat C. So the pilot was totally competent to be flying this plane. The co-pilot was also a qualified FAA commercial and instrument-rated pilot from Bristol Academy, Florida, and he qualified in April 2023. In December 2024, he was recategorized within the Ghana Air Force as a Category D pilot on helicopter type with a white instrument rating. To further rule out any potential human causes, we examined the medical and psychological records of the crew. A review of the medical and personal records revealed no known medical or psychological conditions in the captain, co-pilot, or technician at the time of flight. All three were described by witnesses as calm, prepared, and professional during the pre-flight activities. Fatigue or medication was not considered to have materially affected their performance on the day of flight. Now to the sequence of events. The flight departed Accra under visual flight rules in marginal weather. The flight to Brofuyedru was uneventful. Brofuyedru is approximately 90 miles from Accra, about 10 miles from Obuasi. As the flight approached Obuasi, visibility deteriorated rapidly due to mist and low clouds. At 9:56, the crew entered IMC, which is Instrument Meteorological Conditions. To the layman, it is they flew into clouds because they no longer could stay away from the clouds, so they flew into clouds and transitioned to IFR. Now, IFR is Instrument Flight Rules. So what it means is they now transitioned from navigating using visual cues to now navigation solely on the aircraft's instruments.
Yes. The main reason Omane do for accident, any pilot fault. Any pilot, na say ne bi kan onya de, na say debi pilot fault. 2, any mechanical fault. Any plane na bi any mechanical issue bi ni ade. Or say the investigation determined that the accident was caused by sudden loss of altitude and lift due to downdraft. This loss of altitude without change in power or pitch altitude is consistent with downdraft associated with changing environmental conditions over high terrain. Almost say, I didn't see in a normal, so we call baby a terrain sesa a high altitude terrain and a sinisisa exercise. And I wanted to quickly understand what downdraft is. Try to simplify for say, the helicopter crashed because a strong wind down suddenly pushed it towards the ground eti omo kona no mudu bofure do ne from maybe twi plane ne ba fom ba plane no so blaze na woso no eni ahode e betimi atwi plane na kosoro saa enti ya sudden environment na esesa no ye fra no climatological conditions climate conditions enti na Ghana meteorology because insuo beto na antono meaning that assessing climatological conditions enti say climatological conditions ni wa then the atmosphere prediction will change enti na can say Ghana Meteorological Agency forecast me hwanim say ne besi it is based on certain variables enti plane normal bibia normal but sudden downdraft na ba na etwi plane ba form ba blaze na wo plane let me twene nkosoro ene de ne ball again utie papa ne wasanse plane ball na explode ye ene na ma nipa no sebe so nipa bu ma fa chame mo mutete ya sebe na ese ye de boto ene de fa enipa no now again osanse loss of lift you say what keeps an aeroplane up in the air what that lift is lost it can't stay up it starts falling it blade no ana contribute to the lift of the plane no the one not down drops and from ana make say yes sad na wo plane ase no environment na plane fly no na air dream a plane ba form ti no na blade na be maintain the lift of plane no na ntimi maintain e na no je na ho na say the plane ball ha sebe fofia ntoata omu efree no until largely a cause a change of weather or make a lot of input on near man was in a plane also like some safety measures and I said plane one na plane ni sa adie ni bi mamen come or say the scenario indicate that even the pilot maintaining the current power control input pitch input that is the strong downward wind currently effectively push the plane out of the sky leading to the fatal impact. So pilot you betimi bia na ontimi nyi plane na say plane the one am from na wo plane ase e twe ne ba no na twea na be twe no e de na ba fom. Or say the release of the technical findings confirmed that the focus of the tragedy shifted from mechanical failure human error to overwhelming impact of adverse weather phenomena. Into your weather no enya mechanical enya pilot no nye experience enya obi na share that pilot ne nkoko no nkotwi plane da enya ni nyina ebie ni wa etesa etisa na okaye sit August ana nyame yanti asempa na beka se nyame no nim ne ewo ye a ni nyina sie o me free mo no eye sana mekana National Security Coordinator Mohammed Muniru, Vice Chairman of NDJ Samuel Sapon, former parliamentary candidate for Boasi Samuel Boaje, Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer NS Chum, and Pedu Sergeant NS Ado, and Dr. Omane Minister for Defense, and Environment Minister Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. I want making lots of recommendations, but this is the breaking news at Airbar. I wanted to present to you. Manama Busemi answer a finally. This is the details meet me down the critical analysis as and when other fine details start coming up on our presentation but this is what I wanted to give to you so far. Sorry, so my presentation I was a bit emotional. Active it's normal. I lost someone dear to me. So yeah, let's show so best subscriber most subscriber now click on notification the video be tomorrow we are comment in the comment section. Bye bye.